The two mamas are here, and it's about to get real.
I may be quiet, but I certainly have opinions.
Silence is golden, but sometimes I just cannot.
You didn't samples like mine right there.
The Real Mamas of California, Broke and Tired Edition.
Hi, welcome to the Real Mamas of California Broke and Tired Edition. I'm Raizza.
And I'm Niky. Hey guys.
Hey, we're so happy to be on air today. Can't wait to get into our conversation. So let's get to our real talk, shall we, Niky?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so what we wanted to talk about today was something not a lot of people tell you when you're getting ready for the big day, the big birthing day, and it's really the real schedule. 2 weeks before you give birth and after. I had a pretty traumatic experience from my birth, and with that too, our schedule was just so conflicting. Because of my age, I was required to go through all these appointments. What was your experience like, Niky?
Yeah, so overall my birth experience was really quick and good. But the 2 weeks before and the 2 weeks after was insane. And I think it was mostly because of my personality and who I am. I have high anxiety and I was taking a lot of advice like way too literal now that I look at it in hindsight. So it was just a really crazy time for me.
It's so interesting because I felt like I didn't get enough advice, but I just kept on hearing, take these last 2 weeks for yourself, relax, and, really take time for yourself. Nope, I didn't have that because guess what? My doctors told me that I needed to go to every other day, get my heart rate tested. And then we had to do sonograms in between. And then I had to get checked through OBGYN for myself and the baby. So it was a lot of back and forth in those 2 weeks.
Wow.
And trying to get like all my disability paperwork 2 months prior. But what they told me was that I could not submit it in until at least I think the 2 weeks before my maternity leave. Yeah. And on top of that, because I had issues with my identity from COVID through the unemployment process, and my card was stolen.
Oh,
yeah, so they wanted additional documents, and I had to go to the office in between all these things happening for my heart rate, go out of town, drive out an hour away to have all these documents submitted just to get my paperwork going.
Wow. Okay, that sounds really crazy. So you had a really crazy 2 weeks leading up to it. Okay, so did I, but mine was a different experience. So I had a really crazy 2 weeks leading up to it because work was really crazy. And I worked up until it was the 15th of that month. It was a Thursday. And I was due on the 22nd. So I pretty much worked up until the end. I had really great energy up until that last week. So I knew that she was coming because I was getting cranky and really low energy. But up until before that last week, like I felt really good. I was go, 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 go. Everyone did tell me to take some time off. And in hindsight, I wish I had because, you really need to relax. And especially when you're a first time mom, you have no idea what's coming. So, that was a big mistake on my part. And especially in California, you could get paid, I think, up to, is it 4 weeks before?
Yeah.
So
I took that 4 weeks and I needed it tremendously. I don't know how you were able to mentally focus because I was already like locked out even 2 months before my actual leave.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like you had a lot going on too with like back and forth with doctor's visits. Yeah, I just went in, for my last appointment. They said everything is looking good. And then, I went into labor on my own. It was a Sunday night. And so in terms of like health wise, everything was pretty smooth for me. So I feel blessed there for sure.
So you didn't have to go through all these like heart rate appointments that they told me to go every other day. And My insurance only allows me to go to one hospital, and that's where you get your heart rate checked. And
Wow.
it's basically about, with traffic, 40 minutes drive.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. You poor thing. So you were really stressed out in the 2 weeks leading up to your birth.
Well, I mean, like, it wasn't just so stressed out. It was more just like, I just wanted to stay. And I live on the third floor. So there was like a lot of physical activities for me where I just could not like rest. But for you, it's more like your mind. And to me, that's just heartbreaking because it's like you should have those time for yourself to, you know, cope before you actually give birth.
Yeah, totally. It's supposed to be about relaxation, getting rest, sleeping, even going to the spa, those few weeks
Ugh,
leading up to it. So, oh man. Well, I'm
I
sorry it's so chaotic for you.
No, for you too. I mean, you worked until like you gave birth. That's insane. And like speaking of spas, that was my schedule.
Oh,
I literally had an appointment for
oh.
a foot massage and to get my nails done and, like get my eyebrows waxed or something. But like, no, none of that. The doctor was like, no, I have a different time zone for you. So this is what you're going to
Oh.
do every other day.
Yeah, I guess things don't always go as planned. Well, okay, so what was the 2 weeks like after birth for you?
So for those of you that don't know this, for disability, you have to let them know that you delivered before you could certify, or so you could certify. So they want to know that you survived the whole process.
Yeah, in
Isn't that sad?
California. I know.
Yeah. So after that, it was pretty chaotic because I couldn't breastfeed as well for Maverick, and during the hospital, he was half on the formulas that they were giving us, and I didn't have that at home. So I guess my advice is to make sure you have something at home that you could breastfeed your baby before you even arrive. Similac is a really good one, just in case you can't go to the store. You are not able to drive. You are so much in pain that it's hard for you to maneuver, and it's hard for the baby too. So have all these things and have like a designated person to help you out in between. If I didn't have Michael to drive me around, I would have gone crazy because after I came home, the next day I got a letter saying that I needed to submit additional paperwork to confirm my identity.
Wow.
So we had to drive out again the following day after I gave birth when we came back from the hospital out of town to submit all my paperwork. And you want to avoid those lines, so you go at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
So yeah, and then they say, okay, you need to schedule your baby's appointment follow up, right? So there's that. There's another day in the weekday, and then you need to go back for yourself to be checked out again. So there's
Wow.
all these like appointments scheduled that you did not anticipate because what you're supposed to do is stay at home and take care of yourself and your baby. But that's not what they tell you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the whole California paperwork after birth thing is kind of like a really big headache, and it's very unfortunate. My experience with it was pretty smooth. I did everything from home, but I would say like that first month after birth was super chaotic. Like for me, starting at the hospital, just I gave birth at Kaiser, and I felt like every 2 hours, like a different lactation consultant was coming in and giving me different advice. And like I said, I was taking it so literally, like I have to do exactly what they're telling me to make breastfeeding work. And because, unfortunately, I didn't do research on breastfeeding beforehand. I know a lot of people said, it's going to be hard, it's challenging. But I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I was kind of like, we'll see how it goes, once the baby's here. And so my milk didn't come in for like 5 days. So, and the baby lost a lot of weight. So they suggested I give formula, which I'm totally fine with. I want my baby to be fed. And so we did that, and I was pumping every 2 hours for those first couple of weeks. So that was really nuts. And, luckily I had enough milk, and I'm very thankful for that. And also because River lost so much weight, we had to go in every other day. So that's when it got really crazy for me, and when we were going to the hospital all the time, those 2 weeks after. And
Yeah.
that was just really stressful with a baby and with, COVID still going around. And is she going to get sick if I take her to the hospital? So yeah, those 2 weeks were probably the craziest weeks of my life.
Yeah, and I think that's the reality that not a lot of people tell you, is that you need to be prepared to not be in bed rest all day. You have these obligations that they tell you primarily for your health, and they want to make sure that you and the baby are fine. And I can't even imagine for moms and families who have to experience a whole different side than we did. Like, we're so lucky that our babies are okay after birth. But
Yeah.
can you imagine those, moments when you can't even leave the hospital, or you have to leave the hospital without your baby?
Yeah. Crazy, you never know what your experience is going to be like. Your first pregnancy and birth can be so different from your second pregnancy and birth. So
Yeah. So I think the takeaway for this is as much research as you can. Not a lot will be documented in Google or whatever. The true experience really lie between like the moms who are surrounded by you, and you really have to ask them, what was your life like the 2 weeks before you gave birth and after? And those will really give you a good indication of how to be prepared, what to bring to the hospital, and who you need around you, and what you need when you get home. And for those baby daddies out there, please be there for your wife or your significant other, because it's really hard. And we're not trying to be like, oh, we need help or whatever. No, we really need the help because we can't get up, and we can't even lift up the stroller or anything. And if I were to tell you how painful it was just to go through a pothole after a C-section, oh my God, it's heart-wrenching. Like, it made me feel like I had a heart attack.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely, you're right about that. Yeah, it takes a village, and it's great to get advice and be prepared, but I think something to also remember is that your experience is probably going to be a whole lot different. There's just really no way to predict what's coming. Just be ready for the chaos.
Right. And hopefully this will help a lot of people wonder if they're wondering what actually happens, because I didn't get that. It was a whole new thing that I didn't realize would happen, and everything I planned and hoped would happen, none of that. Like, I didn't even get to put my makeup on. I didn't get to brush my hair. I thought I was just gonna have a pretty natural birth, and nope. So our next real talk is women in their 40s and 50s with new careers, and it's a big trend that's happening right now. I think more so we have the available abilities to do that with social media and the influence. Adriana, she's nearly 60, and she's up on stage, and she looks great. And then we have Gina. She's 40 years old and starting a whole new career in real estate after being a stay-at-home mom after her divorce. So I think that's just what happens naturally after your divorce.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think when you go through such a big life change as a divorce, you kind of want to reinvent yourself and start something new. These women are famous. They're housewives, for those of you who don't know. They're on the Real Housewives Bravo series. And they just want to kind of start something new, whether it's in a small or a big way. I love that. I think all women, should do what they want career-wise at any stage in their lives, regardless of age. I think it's never too late. You only live one life, So why not be happy?
Also want to see what's out there. And in the 90s or 2000s or whatever, you were told to just stick to one thing and then that's it for the rest of your life. But now with so much influence, you have the ability to say, hey, there's more out there for me, and I want to follow my passion. And now that I'm at a different age, sometimes you just don't give F about like what people think, or you've gone through so much in your life that you're willing to start over.
Yeah, definitely. I have noticed that, in my field, like older women who are more near retirement age are really afraid of like starting over. And it's because, they've been told you kind of just stick to one thing, or, they think
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be too hard to, find a new job, or no one's going to give them a chance because of their age. But I think our generation, especially, we're, just about to be 40. I think that, that's not how we think. We, change jobs often. We want to be happy and fulfilled. And, times have also changed. It's not like it was 30, 40 years ago, where you just kind of stick to the job. If you're not happy, you get out there and you find a new job.
Yeah, and like there's different obligations that you have then. Maybe in your 20s or late teens, you started a family, so you couldn't get to a career that you wanted or didn't have the confidence.
Hmm.
And now maybe empty nesting, you have the time, so you want to fulfill your life in some way when it's just kind of stale, I guess, and you want to have something for yourself. And I think that's part of the divorce thing too, that sometimes when you were a stay-at-home mom, you didn't necessarily have anything to say for yourself. So now it's like, okay, this is a different stage. I'm kind of on my own and I have the ability to make something of myself, or at least follow my passion that I didn't have the option before.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And a lot of moms don't want to stay home anymore. They want to work, they want to get out there, they want to do it all. So more power to them.
Yeah.
Renew, regenerate, re-energize yourselves, and do what feels good.
And I love how everyone these days kind of just been stepping away from being conservative, and it's okay for women in your 40s or 50s or even your 60s to show a little bit more skin, because back then it was frowned upon. And I love how women or ladies in their 40s take ownership and say, this is how I really look, and this is my skin, and this is how I want to flaunt it, and this is how I'm making a whole brand new life for myself.
Yep. Yep. I agree with all of that. Yeah. More power to all the women, to all the moms out there. Just be happy. You got to do what makes you happy.
Yeah. Woo!
Woo! Even if that means starting over.
So for our reality series today, I
Oh,
can't wait
exciting.
because I want to see how everyone is really affected by Heather Dubrow. I honestly think that she wants to leave, and she's been saying that. She doesn't. But now that she's in a different status, I think, with selling her house, her Dubrow Chateau for 55 million, she's of a different status.
Yeah.
And my thing is that she's going to Beverly Hills. What do you?
So my thoughts on Heather Dubrow, I do, I can't relate to her. I think that's the problem. Like, she is so rich. It's really hard for me to find common ground with her. But overall, I mean, I really do think they're a really cute family. I think her and her kids are adorable. I think all of her daughters have come out and she's just been so supportive of it. And I think they have a really cute marriage. And, they're kind of like a really strong, like, power couple in OC, Beverly Hills, wherever they end up. So I definitely can appreciate that. But in terms of her style, I can't relate to that either. Like the way she dresses, and also like for a $55 million mansion, I really thought that she decorated that home extremely poorly. What are your thoughts on
I mean, I loved her closet. I mean, I think that would have been my dream closet. And, I could see her style in it, but I also thought that it wasn't that Orange County. Um, it was very different, but
it was
I
almost
guess
New
it attracted
Jersey.
a lot of things for it to be really, nice enough to sell for $55 million.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, true, true. They're very rich. They've done very well for themselves, so good for them.
I mean, I think I attract to her primarily because I see a lot in her in a sense where, she's the person that likes to put things together. She's very like planned thoroughly and, party favors and, kind of always just want to be the person that you go to. And I kind of like being that person too, as far as like social life. But I think she'd really make a mark in Beverly Hills with her persona and the way she carries herself. And not that we don't like Orange County. I just think that Beverly Hills probably needs a refresh with Kyle possibly leaving. So she might be the person to pass the baton to. And she's just down the road. So why not?
Yeah, definitely. She's gonna definitely be the leader of the pack if she goes to Beverly Hills. And you're right, yeah, she's definitely very like the way she expresses herself. It's very classy, and I do love that about her also.
Yeah. And she's very well put together, and I think that's what I strive for, because sometimes I'm not.
It's hard as mama. I guess it's easy when you have, millions of dollars and nannies and all that, though.
Well, anything could be a lot easier with $1 million+ on hand.
Definitely. Definitely. So what do you think, speaking of Orange County, I'm hearing that Alexis Bellino is back. How do you feel about that?
I think it's gonna give a different vibe. And from what I understood, not a lot of girls liked her, right?
No, yeah, she's really dramatic and crazy. So I think that's going to be really fun to watch because that is what really draws me to the Real Housewives, kind of based on how crazy they are and how much they bring it. So I think it could get interesting again.
Yeah, and I always, from perspective Orange County, you kind of think like conservative moms, but they're really not. So I think
Yeah.
that was one of the things where it drew me to Orange County when it first started airing, because it was like a whole different dynamic to LA that I didn't know about.
Yeah, totally. It is very interesting. Like Tamra, Alexis, Vicky, all these girls. They're maybe not what you think typically of a Orange County housewife, but it's really fun to watch them.
Okay, so it's time for our next segment. It's a fun one. It's called LOL. And today we are doing Glam Housewives versus Broke Mama Prize. So we basically picked two items that we love as a glamorous wife and two other ones where we're broke and that's all we could afford. So what are your two for today, Nikki?
Okay, so my first item is Kyle Richards. She has like a $23,000 Birkin bag. I mean, she has, I don't know, a lot of them, and a lot of the housewives do. But I found an almost identical dupe on Amazon for $66. And you can't go wrong. It's cute, it's stylish, it's, vegan, so no, ostriches or alligators were killed in the name of fashion. And you're saving, $20,000. So
Why
I
not?
love that.
Is it really faking it until you make it? I think when, you can even afford a bag above 50, I think you're okay.
I would agree. Yes, that's in our price point, and for us, that's glam. Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
Yes. Okay. And then my second item is the wonderful VW4 Volkswagen stroller. It retails for about $1,600, and I've seen it all over Instagram. A lot of moms have it, and that's pretty pricey for a little wagon that comes in addition to your stroller, and that you're just using every now and then. I mean, it's super cute, but I found a Radio Flyer convertible stroller wagon, and that one is $138. So you're saving a lot of money there.
Not too shabby. We got suckered into getting one almost for $800 at Nordstrom, but then it was just basic and you had to add on all the accessories. So it was like above 1,000 afterwards. But I'm like, is this realistic?
Yeah, I know. Realistically, I don't know if it's one of those things you're going to use forever or if it's one of those baby items you're going to use for a month or two and just stop using it because I've done that with so many strollers. I had my bulky, like my infant stroller and then my bulky one, and now I have my travel one. So I have a feeling that, this type of item could be another situation like that, where if you spend $800, it just goes down the drain.
Yeah, it's definitely a want and not a need, and we're trying to do better, right?
Absolutely. All right. So what are your items, Raizza?
Okay, so this is an air glass bag by a designer brand called Coperni, and it was featured in their fall 2024 runway. And they basically partnered with NASA, utilizing an element called silica aerogel, and it's basically the largest solid element that collects stardust.
Wow.
And so this is 99% air, 1% glass, 33 grams. It's really lightweight and tiny, and it glows like a cloud for $4,500. And I'm just wondering, why is NASA taking part in this when it's our tax, and I don't see the value of utilizing these sources for these things, and especially if it only retails for $4,500, and there's other bags that probably retail for 3 times more that doesn't do anything to do with NASA.
Yeah, $4,500 for air, a waste of our tax dollars, God knows how many, because, it usually takes millions to do projects like this. I think I'll pass.
No, I don't want it. And if you want something like that, there's a bunch at Target, at Walmart that are see-through bags, primarily for use for like stadiums and things. And if you want it to glow, get a glow in the dark stick and put it in there. Call it a day.
Okay, I love that. Awesome.
Okay, so the other one is a Tiffany Toile mug for $125 and the matching plate for $100. So if you want a whole set of 4, that's about $1,000 after tax. And I do love my coffee and my tea, and although this is very exciting and so glamorous, I think I'm just going to stick to my Anthropologie mug that I've had for 10 years now. That was given to me as a gift by my old manager, Karen. Shout out to you. This is the best thing ever for my coffee, knowing that, this was given to me by my manager. And for $1,000, I think I'll put it somewhere else, like maybe a wagon or something.
Yeah. No, I do have to say that I do have some of the Tiffany's tea set. I got it as my wedding china, and we haven't used it. It just sits there. I guess I'm scared to break it, like all my other mugs. So it's really just decorative for us. But is it worth it? I don't know. I really do love it. But I probably wouldn't buy anything that expensive again, any china that's that expensive again. It was just a one-time thing.
But could it be a collection item? Like years later, it might be worth something, kind of like their jewelry.
True. Yeah, you never know.
Not a lot of people can have it, and when you do, it's because you can pass it on. And anything like that that's glamorous, that's all where we really want to be. I mean, that's why we pay attention to these things, right? So I'm happy that you have that, Niky.
Yeah, very true, very true. It's one of the few things that I have that is glamorous, that and a couple bags, and I definitely am thankful, and I cherish them because, we're broke mamas now.
Yeah. It would actually be great too if we hear from our listeners what their glam and broke prices are for certain things that they love. It'll be really interesting to know what's out there that we might not know about. So please go to Instagram and put in your 2 cents for these items.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. It's The Real Mamas of California. You can also email us, therealmamasca@gmail.com.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, Niky, for joining in all the way from North Cali. I miss you, and I miss the Bay. But we also love LA, so I'm going to stay here.
Definitely. And thanks to our listeners. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
In partnership with Network RYM Media LLC, Vanessa Torres-Khan as executive producer. Music is licensed by Motion Array, introduction theme pursuit comedy produced by Kakadu Creation, audio voiceover by Tatiana. Special thanks to Naughty and Nice Beauty Beverly Hills, cosmetics created for attention. Active Pair, stylish and quality activewear for fitness and lifestyle. Aguero's Food Truck, authentic Mexican dishes. And many thanks to Reina Fajardo, Rogelio Cortez Jr., Roberto Olivas, Damaris Beatriz, and Luis Escate.